Should you let kids have baths together? This is one of those parenting questions that sounds small, but it can make parents spiral really fast because you're not really asking about the bath. You're asking whether this is still fine or whether you're missing something important. And I get asked this question a lot. And after more than 30 years of working in sexual health, I can tell you this question makes good parents second guess themselves very quickly. So let me make this easier. This isn't really a yes or no question. It depends on the age, stage of development, comfort, privacy, and the body rules that you're teaching. And in a minute, I'll give you the simplest signs that tell you whether shared baths are still just practical or whether it's time to change things. A lot of parents think there must be one perfect cutoff, one right age, one right rule. Usually there's not, and that's part of what makes this stressful. What makes it feel even more loaded is that bodies are involved, siblings are involved, or their friends. Privacy's involved, and parents are scared of getting it wrong. So people jump straight to, is this bad? Should I stop it? Have I left it too long? Is it unsafe? That's usually the wrong question. The better question is, does this still fit the kids in front of me? And does it match the privacy and boundary rules that I want them to learn? So when are shared baths okay? Sometimes they're just practical and that's it. Babies, toddlers, young siblings close in age, bedtime chaos, one parent trying to get everyone washed and into bed. In real life, that's often what's going on. And look, as a parent myself, I know bath time is sometimes just survival. And you're not sitting there making some big philosophical decision. You're just trying to get everybody clean, fed, and into bed before you collapse. So no, shared baths aren't automatically a problem. Nudity by itself isn't the issue. And I think parents sometimes panic about nudity when what they actually need to be teaching is privacy, body names, and boundaries. And stay with me because the bit that really matters here is knowing when privacy starts to shift. And that's where parents usually get stuck. So, what matters isn't some abstract good or bad rule. What matters is how old the kids are, their stage of development, how comfortable they are, whether anyone wants more privacy, and what's happening around curiosity and boundaries. So, you're looking at the whole picture. Does everyone still seem relaxed and unbothered? Or is one child starting to pull away, hide, stare, joke, touch, or get uncomfortable? And that's the stuff that I would pay attention to. This is also where your family rules matter. Bodies are normal, bodies aren't shameful, but privacy still matters, and that's the balance. So, when does privacy start to shift? And this is a part parents often want a perfect formula for. But in real life, privacy usually shifts gradually. One child will start wanting the door shut, another one will start to wash alone. And then one will get annoyed if another kid comes in. And one might start noticing bodies differently, or the age gap between them starts to feel bigger. And as both a sex educator and a parent, I would say this is where people overcomplicate it. You don't need one big incident. You don't need to catch anyone doing something awful, and you don't need to have a big family meeting. Sometimes the reason's simply that this doesn't feel as easy and neutral anymore. And that's enough. And in a second, I'll give you the clearest signs to watch for, plus what to say if you decide it's time to stop having shared baths. The clearest sign is that one child wants more privacy. That on its own is enough. You don't need a more impressive reason than that. Other signs are that one child seems uncomfortable, even if they don't say it directly, or the age gap is starting to matter more. Curiosity might also be getting a little bit more focused. Just general body curiosity, but more staring, more comments, more boundary pushing. Another sign is that one child keeps touching or trying to touch or not respecting body space. Or bath time no longer feels calm and everyday ordinary, feels awkward, tense, or like you need to supervise it differently. Those are your signs, not shame, not panic, just information. And that matters because when adults assign too much meaning too fast, kids learn to hide instead of ask. Bath time can actually be a really good, easy place to teach useful things. Correct body names, which body parts are private. That private doesn't mean bad, it just means not for everyone. That everybody gets to have boundaries around their own body. It's also a good place to teach that seeing a body is different from having permission to touch, comment, or get in someone's space. And that privacy changes as kids grow. And this is where everyday sex education works really well. Small moments, short conversations, nothing dramatic. And that's a big part of how I teach sex education. Not one giant talk, but lots of small, clear conversations that fit real life. And in a minute, I'll give you some very simple words you can use because this is the bit where parents often freeze. So, what could you say? You don't need a big speech here. You could say, you're getting older now, so bath time is going to become more private. Or bodies are natural and normal, but some body things are private, so we're changing how bath time works. You could also say, you haven't done anything wrong. This is just one of those things that changes as you grow. And if one child wants more privacy, you could say, that's okay. You're allowed to want more privacy with your body. Keep it short, keep it matter of fact, and do not over explain. And don't make it sound like bodies are suddenly embarrassing, dangerous, or even dirty. Now, I don't think that nudity is the actual problem with shared baths. I think lack of teaching is the problem, and I think parents often wait for a problem before they teach privacy. And that's backwards. You don't need to make bodies shameful to teach about private. And you do not need to act like something bad has happened to say, this setup doesn't work anymore, shared baths. And honestly, that's what I want parents to hear the most in this video. You're allowed to change the setup without turning it into a crisis. So, should kids have baths together? Sometimes, yes. Sometimes it's practical, it's normal and completely fine. And sometimes it's time to stop because privacy needs have changed. And that is a real answer. This is about teaching, not shame. Bodies are not natural, privacy matters, and boundaries change as kids grow. And you don't need perfect words for this. You just need to notice what's changing and then respond clearly. And if you want extra help with the language around body names and privacy, I've got a guide to private body parts over in the sex ed shop, and you'll find the information below.